What up, what up? Welcome to Mr. Brown's class where there's no whining and no complaining. Today we're on lesson 15, equivalent fractions and reducing fractions part 1. Okay, when we're talking about equivalent fractions, what we're talking about is if we have a circle, right, and we divide it into two equal sides, what is that as a fraction? That's 1/2. But let's say that we take and we divide it into fourths. Has it really changed? No. But now what's our fraction? If we say the same amount, what's our fraction? 2/4. Well, 1/2 and 2/4 is the same. Now let's divide it into eighths. Has it changed? No. We still have the same amount shaded, right? But now we have 4 out of 8. And we could keep doing that. We could do 5/10, but it's all 1/2. Those are equivalent fractions. They mean the same thing. Right now, let's take 1/2. Well, let's talk about this, okay? If we take 2 and multiply it by 1, what is it? 2, right? What property is that called? Identity, property of multiplication. All right? Now, if I take this, and let's say that we multiply it by 2/2. Well, what is 2/2? That's the same as 1/1 or 1. It's the same as multiplying it by 1. Okay, because 2 divided by 2 is 1. So when we do this, we end up with 2/4. Right, which is 1/2. So it hasn't changed. It stayed the same. 1/2, if we multiply it by 3/3, we end up with 3/6. It's still 1/2. Take 1/2, multiply it by 4/4, 4/8. Right? So this is still the identity property because this is the same as multiplying by 1. Multiplying by 1. Multiplying by 1. If the numerator and the denominator are the same, it's the same as 1. Okay, so find an equivalent fraction for 2/3 that has a denominator of 12. So we have 2/3. We want an equivalent, that means equal, that has a denominator of 12. So we need to multiply this by something that's going to give us a denominator of 12. 3 times what gives us 12? 4. So we have to multiply the top by 4. So what's 2 times 4? 8. Right? So 2/3 and 8/12 are equivalent fractions. Okay, find an equivalent fraction to 1/3 that has a denominator of 6. Okay, so we need to multiply it by something that has a denominator of 6. Okay, so 2/2 is 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. Next, find an equivalent fraction to 1/2 with a denominator of 6. We multiply 2 times 3 gives us 6. We have to multiply the top by 3. Then add the two fractions you found. So we're going to take 2/6 plus 3/6. That equals 5/6. Bada bing, bada boom. All right? Easy stuff. Okay, now when we're reducing, we're just going to do the opposite. Instead of multiplying, we're going to divide. So 18/24. Right? Now, what's the greatest common factor that would go into 18 and 24? What's the largest number that would go into both of them? Good, 6. Now, what we could do, let me do it two different ways, okay? So let's divide both. We know both are even numbers, so let's divide them by 2. All right, so 9, 12. All right, now, what else could go into that? 3. 3/4. Okay, that's one way to do it, slowly. Okay, but something like this, most of you could see that 6 goes into both of them. 18 divided by 6 is 3. 24 divided by 6 is 4. And that's reduced. Okay, because we can't, nothing will go into 3 and 4. It saves a lot of time if you can figure that out. The greatest common factor. So 3 and 8 twelfths. Don't even worry about the 3. Let's just reduce the fraction part. We'll go into 8 and 12. What's the largest that would go into 8 and 12? 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. That's reduced because 2 and 3 can't go any smaller because there's nothing that will go into both of them. Okay, write as a mixed number with a fraction reduced. Okay, so let's first see if we can reduce 12/9. We'll go into 12 and 9. 3 will go into both of them. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now, how many times will 3 go into 4? Once. What's left over? 1/3. Another way you could do it is 9 into 12. Bottom number goes on the outside. Goes in one time. The remainder of 3. So 1 and 3/9. Divide the top by 3. Divide the bottom by 3, and we get 1 and 1/3. Okay? Either way works. Okay, so let's subtract these two. Go ahead and do this one on your own. Okay, so 7/9 minus 1/9 equals 6/9. Now that's not reduced. We always reduce. What will go into 6 and 9? 3. So 2/3. Boom shakalaka. Okay, write 70% as a reduced fraction. What does percent mean? Percent means out of 100. So 70 out of 100. Now, whenever they both end in 10, we can just divide by 10. That makes it easy. And that just chops off one those. So this equals 7/10. Alright, a lot of examples today. This is the last one. With one spin, what is the probability that the spinner will stop on 4? Okay, so remember probability. Favorable, what you want, over total. Okay, so how many 4s are there? Remember, probability of 4. Okay, so probability of 4. There's 1, 2 4s out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, you can reduce it. The probability of 4 is 1/4. So from now on, never ask, should I reduce? You always reduce. Everybody have a nice night. Remember, be more awesome.